Scott Russell, let's talk about the US Constitution. I'm a dual citizen with the US and have spent a considerable time there. And I know one of the things that the US, which you may not understand if you're outside the US, is so strong on is their Constitution. And they say, we have a Constitution that will protect us. Our Constitution will protect us from abuse. And I was thinking about that, and I wanted to just talk briefly about that and raise a few points with you. The Constitution is a piece of paper. The Constitution goes no further. And when you watch evil men, evil intentions, men rise up with self-centered intentions that come and start to take over, the Constitution is not something that does anything. Because we've watched here in Australia, we've watched in the US, we've watched in other parts of the world where the government itself has turned on the people, and what they've started to do is just completely disregard laws. Then they change the laws and try to change the laws to catch up with what they've already done. And so, really, thinking about the Constitution, all the Constitution, the US Constitution is a letter from the ancestors of the US forward, saying we've been where you are before. We know where this is going to end. We are writing this in a document that will stay ironclad and will stay there. But that document will never be enforced. That document is just a worthless piece of paper unless the spirit of freedom is alive in our children. And that's what they were saying. Unless the spirit of your spirit, the spirit of freedom, God is alive in you to tell you need to be free, you will come under oppression again. And they are writing and saying this is something you need to take into account. It's, I'm a minister, and it's like the Bible. A Bible is an expression from men that have come before us, from God-inspired men, I believe, that have written and said to us, if you do these actions, these things will happen. I don't believe the Bible is something that, God just moved someone's hand and they wrote it. No, it's not like that. It's someone that were godly men, like a constitution, that have been inspired by God, that have paid a price to be where they are, and they wrote a letter called a Bible that said to us, hey, you're going to be in this position. I've been here before. And unless the spirit of freedom is alive in you, unless God's spirit is alive in you, the Bible is a worthless, meaningless book. Now, not to say it doesn't have power. The words of that were bought by sacrifice. The words of that of something that have come about through people laying down their lives, through people fighting evil, and starting to say, life is not just about me and what I get out of this. At some point, as men, as women that are righteous and that have passion in us, we have to rise up in ourselves and say, other things matter other than just my pleasures. Things matter other than my Mercedes-Benz and my house and my whatever. I need to have a future for my children, a future for my life. That is all the Constitution is. A letter from our forefathers and the forefathers of the US saying, you are going to get here again because the heart of man is evil. They are going to do this to you again. We're dying. We've got nothing we can do for you. We've shed our blood to be able to write this document. And so now we're saying to our children, we're gone and it's over to you. Stand strong in what we've given you. And if we could say anything in our parting, here's my letter to my future generations saying, stand for freedom. Don't ever let them erode your freedom. Don't ever let them tell you that freedom doesn't matter. Freedom is everything. Freedom is God-inspired. Freedom comes from Almighty God Himself as it comes into our spirit and comes alive in us with a passion. That's something that these globalists don't understand because they're godless men, godless women, people that don't have a passion. The only thing they have is a lust. They have a lust for greed. Have you ever loved somebody? If people can love you in lust and people can love you in a clean passion, something that's saying, I'm righteous, I'm here for you, I'll lay my life down for you. Or it's like, I want to use you in lust. These globalists have a lust for power. They are drunk on their own importance, drunk on power, lied and deluded themselves that what they're doing is correct. Friend, the US Constitution, read the document. Now you can say, well, what can I do? I'm just one man. What can I do? I'm just one man, but I'm doing this. It's not about identifying the problems, and it's time that people stopped being armchair critics. They sit there, listen to the TV, listen to the news, and say, this is terrible. Do something. I'm not saying nothing violent. I'm not encouraging that. I'm saying get off your backside and do something. What is that? Maybe it's telling your next door neighbor, you know what? You could start with sharing this video. We just had Mike go down. O'Neill's gone down to the US border on a convoy to Texas. He shared a picture saying, I'm going down to the border. We've done an interview with the sheriff and we're going down to the border. And then he put that up, and a second he posted that, Facebook shut him off. Restricted his accounts. I've been there. They do that. This may get restricted, but it won't if you share it. Download it, share it, put it out there. That's what you can do. There's always something. Tell your next door neighbor. Talk to the people around you. The power of the people. You can't stop the power of freedom. The power of freedom in each and every one of us. Open your mouth and speak for God's sake. Because I'll tell you what, if you haven't, they've taken your voice. They've taken your voice, and it's cowardly to sit down and say, I can't have an opinion, because if I have an opinion, it's not woke, it's not correct. You know what? Speak in love, speak in kindness, speak in truth, and speak in righteousness. But for God's sake, speak.